I welcome you all to our first session on the track of architecture. First of all, I would like to introduce the speaker for this session, Dr. Mohammad Firozi. Mohammad Firoz is an architect and an urban planner by profession and serves as an assistant professor at the Department of Architecture and Planning in NIT Calicut. Dr. Feroz graduated from NIT Calicut as a university rank holder, completed his PhD degree from IIT Kharagpur. Dr. Feroz has been teaching in NIT Calicut since July 2014, that is 14 years, for undergraduate, postgraduate, and PhD students. He has also served as a visiting teacher at the prestigious School of Architecture, Architectural Association, London. It is indeed our pleasure to have you here, sir. On behalf of IEEE Malabar Subsection, cordially welcome you to this session. So, please.
Is it audible?
Yes, sir, it is.
Is my slides are visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll start. Just hold for a minute. Okay. Good afternoon, good evening. In fact, thank you IEEE for giving me an opportunity to speak at this venue. I think it's audible and things are fine. Am I right? I'll not stop in between.
Yes, sir. It is crisp and clear.
Okay, thank you. So I'll start my session. I'm going to give an introduction to architecture and planning as a profession. And hello, it's henceforth all the disciplines of engineering will be covered. In fact, architecture is not a discipline of engineering. It is an offshoot of an engineering. It's which we'll discuss in the subsequent sessions. Okay, so this session is divided into 8 parts where I'll just give an introduction to the history and background of the profession, an introduction to the profession of architecture, what are the skills required and the steps and aptitude tests required in becoming an architect, which are the Institute for Study in Kerala, which I'll mildly cover because as per IEEE policy, we should not promote any institution. None of us got agenda to promote any institution also. And but just how to select a good institution, I'll inform you through your own way. And of course, what is the curriculum structure of the Bachelor of Architecture program? What are the career prospects, placements, and working conditions for architecture? And of course, which are the specializations and PG program after architecture you can do. Even if you don't like the course, you have option to diverge and move into different professions. And of course, what is the difference between architecture and civil engineering? Normally people confuse and people feel that it's going to be the same. Now this session is divided into, we have a 20 to 22 minute session plus 8 to 10 minute discussions. That's how I scheduled my presentations. You know, historically in India, you can see that right from Mohenjo-daro to Taj Mahal, we have seen buildings designed either by civil engineers, none by civil engineers, none by architects. Traditionally, it has been done by craftsmen and master craftsmen who does not have any formal teaching. But in fact, the traditional vernacular wisdom has been transferred from generation to generation by workmanship. You work with your guru and then learn things. But formal civil engineering as an offshoot of architecture is an offshoot of civil engineering, which started in 1847. But IIT Roorkee, the current IIT Roorkee, which was started by Britishers as Thomas Thomson College of Engineering, and formal architecture happened in 1857 from JJ School of Art, whereas architecture was a part of art to that time. So you can see the timeline history from JJ Architecture to Baroda to School of Planning and Architecture Delhi, which started in as Delhi Polytechnic College in 1944, which made to SPA Delhi in 1956, to Bengal Engineering College, to IIT Kharagpur in 1952, and of course the Department of Architecture in IIT Roorkee, which happened in 1956. So basically this is the trajectory, and as of today, you have 463 plus schools. I'm saying as of today, there are 463 architecture schools in India offering undergraduates and 20 planning programs roughly in India. So you have in Kerala, because this, though they have participants from all over India, majority participants being from Kerala, there's a slight tint of shade to Kerala also. So 1,800 seats are offered in 40 colleges in Kerala. Out of these, 5 are government and aided. So, and of course, other colleges, you can go to the Council of Architecture website and you can see a lot of all the colleges. The degree is not, is called Bachelor of Architecture, BArch, not BTech, like normal engineering course. And the duration is for 5 years against 4 years for engineering. The entrance examination is JEE for NITs, IITs, School of Planning and Architecture, all centrally funded universities, and all other colleges, you have got another exam called NATA. Now, from here, you can understand that a lot of seats are available in architecture studies in Kerala as well as India. In Kerala, we have 1,800 seats, whereas there are 1,000 panchayats in Kerala. So what does it mean? Getting an admission is not at all a difficult task, but getting the right college is the most difficult task. Admissions won't be a difficult task because in engineering all over India, it's a cakewalk. But identifying the right institution is the challenge, depending on the rank or score what you get. So you have to, I'm introducing architecture as a field of study. So what is one of the oldest profession in the world, along with civil engineering? It's multidisciplinary nature, which covers engineering, arts, social science, and of course, management. It involves creativity mixed with engineering skills. So if you're trained to design aesthetically pleasing, functionally efficient, and economically fitting designs. So these are some of the historical old architectural masterpieces of the world. All of you might know what is the first one is the pyramids. Then you have got the Angkor Wat, the Rome Colosseum, and so many things. And if you come to the modern day architecture also, you can see the first one is by Zaha Hadid architect. The second one is the Gaggenheim Museum in Bilbao. The other one is the Olympic Stadium in China, the Sydney Opera, and of course the Palm Jumeirah Island. These are all architecture works done by great architects. Now, what architects primarily do? Architects primarily do design, architectural design of houses, campuses, theaters and auditoriums, hospitals, apartments, hotels, airports, shopping mall, resorts, or anything. That's our primary job. That's primarily what we do. We also do, as an architect, we do have specializations in the due course within the undergraduate program. You can also do product design. For example, if you want to design a chair, if you want to design something innovatively for a product, you can also do the interiors within a building. You can also look for landscape, means greenery space within outside the building. You can also design urban design of towns and squares in towns. You can also plan towns like Amaravati. These are all parts of architecture and planning program. Okay, you are taught regarding all these things in the curriculum, as well as you are expected to do these kind of jobs. Now, extended dimension, there is beyond architecture, there is something like quantity surveying. If you want to measure the quantity of large projects, for example, how much steel, how much reinforcement, how much concrete, etc., etc. Measurement of land and areas, that is land surveying, remote sensing and GIS using satellite imagery, construction project management, where you do the project management and man and material management of large projects. You can also do building services and building science, for example, acoustical treatment for buildings, the heating, ventilation, air conditioning for buildings, of course, water supply design system for buildings, kind of thing. You can also do urban design. That means city planning kind of thing, urban planning, product design. These are all offshoots of architecture where you are expected to, or you can even work. To sum it up as the first session, architecture is the art, science, and profession of planning, designing, and supervising the construction of old or new buildings. I repeat, old or new buildings, landscapes, community space, and furnishing in the totality, totally examining their environment in accordance with the principles of unity, strength, and aesthetics. That's what we do. Is it okay? Am I audible? Everything is clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Let me continue. Now here, this third section, I'm going to cover about the skills required, steps involved, and aptitude to test required to become an architect. Slightly different from engineering discipline. So you must have, normally it is expected that a good drawing skills and artistic skills are desirable. But my 14-15 years of teaching experience, I have seen there are so many good architects, even if you don't have a very good skills in a drawing, because it's an added advantage. Nowadays, there are a lot of softwares available which can be used to visualize. So that is not mandatory, but it is desirable. But good communication skills are required because you have to liaison with a lot of people, contractors, suppliers, fellow architects, subcontractors, so many things. You have to have a good communication skill. You must normally work in team. So you have to have a management skills and business skills because you will be mostly operating on your own. You also have the ability to work under pressure because you have to handle multiple projects of different scales, of different clients, of different nature at the same time. So you must be working under pressure. So also you must have in-depth understanding of the materials and product used to create and furnish the space. Understanding of things are required. And of course, time and project management skills are equally important. Even if you don't have some of these skills, this BR program, being a rigorous program, will help you to train into these skills automatically once you are within the program. Okay, so any person with some basic aptitude and passion, I repeat, passion for the course can become a good architect. The rest the course will acquire you to develop. Now, basically, I say that there are 4 steps required to become an architect. One is to have a basic qualification, which is 10+2. If you fail in 12th standard, you cannot become an architect. As simple as that. Second thing is to clear the architecture aptitude test. So there are basically 2 tests which I will cover up later to become an architect. And of course, the step 3 is to get admission in a university and get a degree. Even if you get a degree in university from architecture, you cannot become an architect. You have to register with the Council of Architects, which is step 4, which is making a license to practice, which Mohandas sir was telling. So that is required to become an architect. So basically, we have 2 different tests, which is one is the National Aptitude Test in Architecture, which is conducted by the Council of Architecture, which is going to have an examination on 29 August, the first day, and morning and forenoon. One is at home, you can write. If you cannot do that, you can go for the other one. At a session center, you can write it. Parallelly, for all the details regarding NATA, you can get it from the NATA website. I'm not going to cover on that. But just to give a gist of it, it is not difficult to get clear NATA. Because as of now in 2018, 32,000 people wrote in India and 27,000 qualified. In Kerala, 5,800 people wrote and 4,900 qualified. Close to 80% is qualified. So it is not difficult to qualify or get in admissions. But scoring a good score and getting in the right college is the difficult task. Because good colleges are very few in number. So you have for schools like, for example, I teach at NIT Calicut, NITs, School of Planning and Architecture, and IITs and all those things. You have to, IIT is a different examination. NITs, you have to clear JEE paper 2. Regarding the paper 2, you have got September is the exam, the next exam going to come. So you can see more of it from JEE main site. And for IITs, you have to clear the JEE, not paper 2. You have to clear the JEE main. You have to clear the advanced JEE and then write a separate architecture aptitude test. The details regarding you can go and do from IIT JEE advanced site. And only 2 IITs in India out of the 460 something are offering courses. So just very limited number of seats, say around 60 to 70 seats are available all over India. It is very difficult to get into that level. So you have training for aptitude. There are a lot of BR aptitude tests online or coaching centers. We don't have any idea what is which offer and all. You can search on your own, and a lot of books are also available as an aptitude test for training. Now, what are the institute to study? Now, I repeat, here I am not going to promote an institute, but I will give you an idea how to select a good institute. Okay, because I may be wrong. Somebody else have a different perception on it. This is my perception, and no other person has got responsibility for it. So if you look at it, I always say that to get the list of architecture schools in India, you must go to the first site, which is Council of Architecture website, where all the 463 schools of architecture in India list and address are given. Go to the respective website, analyze it on your own. Okay. Parallelly, the government of India has published data. For example, you have National Institute of Ranking Framework, NIRF ranking. So this is the list of NIRF ranking, where fortunately the Department of Architecture and Planning, NIT Calicut, where I teach, is all India 3, immediately after IIT Roorkee and IIT Kharagpur. Okay, so we are 3, and have you seen the bubble more details? In the more details, if you click, you can see all the details of the institution, faculty, research and publications, their area, infrastructure, everything. It's a huge list you can find, and based on that, they are cumulatively giving a ranking. So all the 15 Architecture, unfortunately, we got only top 15 ranking. Engineering, you have got the top 100 ranking. So you can, and NIRF ranking, don't trust it fully, my perception, because one ranking is never superior against two. It slightly varies, this 0.01, 0.02 kind of variation. Every year this ranking slightly change. But in a nutshell, top 20 should be a first bunch, which is good kind of thing. Some perception you can arrive at it. It is just purely indicated. This ranking keeps on changing by different organizations. And this is an authentic Government of India ranking, which you can depend upon choosing the list of institutions as a guiding document. Now, admissions purely depends on the rank merit. And even if you have low score, if you got NRI quota reservation, you may get into kind of thing. I suggest a simple technique. Go to the previous data, 2016, 17, 18, 19 admissions. With respect to your rank, look for roughly which where will you come into. Prepare a matrix which I have given roughly. For example, if an institution, you can year-wise last admitted rank for different category, your opening and closing rank, you can find out from a, and prepare a matrix like that. And depending on your score, you can relate and see where you stand. This is purely indicative. This year you may get in an institution, next year you may not even get in that institution. But you can roughly know where you really stand with some margin of error. It can vary. There is no guarantee that this will be true, but roughly you'll get an allotment, roughly where you can get to know, where you can get a feel where you can get. The best thing is not for architecture, but for engineering also, consult an architect, engineering, or maybe somebody who's in the field, and look at the list of institutions based on whatever the metrics you're going to get. Ask them which is the best one where accordingly. And as a tip, you can look at the infrastructure, legacy, reputation, NIRF ranking, etc. before making a choice. Okay, just a few institutions, nothing on any priority. At least from Kerala government institution, I just want to introduce few of them, but they are not.
Hello. Hello, Pros.
I think he has some technical problem.
Sorry, participant, for the delay. There is a technical issue. That's why this is happening.
Rose has a backup connection also. He will connect soon.
Sorry, participant, for the delay. The speaker will come to the meeting very soon. Till then, if you have any kind of queries, then please put it in the chat box.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Feroz is back.
Okay, one second. I'll have to make him.
Feroz, your mic is off.
Is it audible now?
Yes, sir, it is.
Yeah, I'm sorry, extremely sorry. Some network problem. This happens in online classes. I don't know where I stopped, from where you missed it out. Is this slide where I stopped?
Sir,
Hello?
27 slide.
27th slide. Okay, I'm sorry. Is it all over?
No, no.
This is not over. This. What about this? What about this?
No, I think it was regarding, yes, 22nd, 22nd.
Okay. Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir, it is.
Yeah. So this is just an indicative format where we can select a college based on which we don't have any priority for any college, but you can look the previous data of 2016, 17, 18, 19. You can construct your own metrics of this with an opening rank and closing rank, and you can create an indicative list. Again, I repeat, what if you get it this year, there is no guarantee that next year you get in the same rank. Look at the previous data, construct your own metrics and see where you can join. Even for engineering, looking at the last admitted rank of your respective category quota and your own institution wise, you can create a matrix for all the institution, and then you can go for filling your options. Even if you don't get an option, fill your best institution, because let it get rejected, no problem, but you choose from the best to the last. Give maximum option. This is my tip. Consult your friends, architects or engineers who are in the field, and so that you will get an idea which choose. But look for the faculty strength, infrastructure, legacy, reputation, NIRF ranking, etc. as a tip for choosing the right institution. Is it audible? Hello?
Yes, sir, it is.
Yeah, thank you. So these are some of the basic institutions, because I teach at NIT Calicut. We have no priority for, even if you join, we have no promotion to market our college or something. But I'm just giving some tips for selected colleges in Kerala. NIT Calicut, architecture is all India rank 3 for 2018 and 19. So you can consider it as an option. There are better institutions elsewhere also. You can look at that also based on your intuition. In Kerala, College of Engineering Trivandrum is the oldest one. You can think all government institutions are, according to me, my perception, are good. So you can look at those. DKM College of Engineering is also a very old institution, which is really good according to me. And old college and good for architecture. And MES first in private sector, oldest private college. And you got Government Engineering College Thrissur, you got RIT Kottayam. So many colleges, private sector also, they are equally good institutions. If you come to a private chat, my perception I can share you later. If you come to me later regarding selection process of something you want. But according to me, selecting the right college is the most challenging thing, because of course everybody teaches you the same thing. The perception, the confidence, the improvement what you're going to get from a good college is tremendous. In India, School of Planning and Architecture's government institutions in Delhi, Bhopal and Vijayawada are good according, because there are like NITs and IITs, they are institutions of national importance. CEPT Ahmedabad is also one of the best in India. So NITs, IITs, a lot of good institutions, private institutions are there. As I already told you, the tip to select a good institution. So you can look at the rankings, you can look at different perceptions, you can look at a lot of blogs and reputed blogs, not ordinary one. Select and you can choose the right institution for selecting the good colleges. Okay. Then you should consult before you, even I've seen so many people with good colleges, just on a lighter shade. One of my relative who joined in a very good rank in medical college, he joined a very ordinary private college because the name of the college was Super Speciality Hospital. Name of college, Super Speciality Hospital. There is no super specialty, simply named the, but he could have got in government, he joined in a private, thinking that super specialty, the others are not. So this blunders, many people do that. Select a very good college, consult a reputed person who's in the field, and before selecting a good college. Here I'm going to give a curriculum structure of the BAc program. Basically, you have got two levels for BAc program. First one is the fundamentals level program, where you got theory courses, lab courses, and design courses. So theory, unlike engineering courses, the additional is actually you got design courses, which is a core course for architecture program, where you go for live projects, you have got in a field tour, you got case study tours, you got internship, and so many things. The level 2, this the first 3 years cover these things, and the advanced courses, you got advanced theory courses. In NITs and IITs, you got research courses like seminar, thesis 1, thesis 2, where you independently do a research project. You have advanced design courses. You got an internship, unlike engineering courses, where you got 6 months to 1 year. You work under a firm, within a firm as an architect, come back to academics and finish your course. This is the difference of architecture against engineering. And architecture, as I already told, is a 5-year program. So basically, the contents I have summarized into architecture design, which is there in all the semesters, which covers the maximum curriculum. You got basic design and visual arts, your creative skills are important. Computers and graphics are there. which is 2 to 3 semesters. Building construction and materials and management will be there. History and theory of architecture will be taught for 3 to 4 semesters. Structural engineering and surveying, which is similar to civil engineering, will be taught along with civil engineers by civil engineers, 4 to 5 semesters. And of course, you got architecture services, which will be again related to water supply, sanitation, electrical distribution, everything will be either taught by civil engineers or architects for 3 to 4 semesters. So building economics, the costing, accounting of buildings, settlement studies, urban planning, everything. You got a professional internship of 6 months, and of course thesis and seminar, which is aiming for research and independent project. So if you look at 31% is architecture design content, remaining 21% for town planning related, electives 23%, and civil engineering related to 17%, and research related to 8%. This is based on NIT Calicut curriculum. Slightly difference will be there between different universities. More or less the picture will be more or less similar. Now, career prospects and work culture. Is it audible? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So now what do you do as an architect? What are the career options? Everybody is interested in career options. What will I do? See, don't come and join an architecture program if you're looking for a campus placement. There is no campus placement for architecture. If you join a medical college and asking some hospital will come and pick you up, it's as simple as that. Nobody will pick you up. It is joining a bar LLB program and some bar advocate will come and pick you kind of. It is a professional degree. And architecture does not give you high initial salary. It is not like IT professionals or MBAs where you get high placement in the beginning. In the beginning, I'm talking about. Okay, but it's like a lawyer, chartered accountant. You have to build your career and profession. You cannot expect campus placement. Though in NIT Calicut there are campus placements, I've seen many people does not go for campus placement. This is what I've seen. People are not interested in campus placement. Okay, so there are some companies which do, of course, but many people don't prefer due to their personal reasons. Jobs are plenty. That doesn't mean that there is no job for architecture. Jobs are plenty. As far as the construction industry remains, architecture will have a job. Okay, infrastructure work as far as this is. But it is very less prone to market risk. It is very less prone to. Whatever happened, buildings will be constructed. So you will get jobs. In the developed country as well as developing country, jobs will be there. One of the most demanding and challenging aerodrome profession. Architects really earn after 3 to 4 years after graduating. They don't initially earn very high in the beginning. First year, irrespective wherever you pass from wherever in the world, your pay will be very low, but it will be exponentially growing the moment you grow as an architect. It will be very highly rewarded. I know in Calicut city, architects who earn more than 1 crore a month, personally speaking. Okay, in Kerala. Okay, so it is highly, that way it is very paying, but you have to have experience, you should know the trade and gain. Like as doctors who earns crores of rupees every month. It is self-employed predominantly. So, but architects do find works in, where do you find job? Okay, construction management side, in corporate firm, for example, Reliance Infocom or Reliance corporate architects kind of thing, public sector jobs like PWD, then product design for different companies, animation and graphic artist, conservation architect for government as well as otherwise, real estate property consultant for large consulting organizations, teaching and research like what I do, and of course non-traditional jobs. Architects do find job. You can join any of this profession, whichever is suiting to you. Now, what are the working conditions of architect? Working condition is, please don't stick to 5 to 8, 8 to 5 kind of job. You should have, there is no definite time frame. Okay, meetings, client, contractors, you should travel all over India depending on the scale you grow. High stress and work pressure definitely will be there. You have to manage different clients, different architects, subcontractors, different projects, salary, project, income tax, so many things you have to manage on your own. So it is that don't stick to 9 to 5 job. And of course, do not insist on a dress code normally, unlike companies. So as a profession, I should say that it is decently paid, satisfying, and you can see, feel, and experience whatever you build, thus making your dreams come to reality. You can see your dream into picture. It does not remain on paper. It is a 3D object you're producing out of it. Okay, so that is the challenge of it. It is a highly rewarding profession. Again, I repeat, not in the initial years, but subsequently it is like a doctor. You have to specialize and you can do a lot of, you can definitely earn a lot of. So it is workaholic. I'm not saying workaholic. If you want to grow high, you have to really be workaholic. You have to really hard work. It is never satisfying in nature. You have to really do a lot of innovations. Late night, as a student also, this as a course when you do, late night studios are always there. You enjoy the program basically. You can work in music, you can work in group. Okay, so architect students work hard. It has to be really workaholic in their curriculum. You have to really work. If you go join an engineering program and then compare architects, architects will have maximum 3 to 4 times workload of engineering, workload more than engineering, but you really enjoy it because that's the nature of the program. Though you do a lot of work, but you will be enjoying it. And you have to work in groups sometimes, kind of thing. So these are some of the photographs of studio work culture. You've got a studio where you have to sit and work late at night. You have a lot of series of presentation. Your communication skills will keep on increasing because every subject you have presentations. So you keep on developing. You know how to cheat your teachers. You know how to cheat others. By that's art you get. You have your perception increasing, your confidence level increasing, your communication skills increasing. That the course will definitely give you a lot of feedback wherever in India you study. So these are some of the claims of my own studios or wherever I am associated with. Okay, so where do you specialize? Okay, architecture gives, even if you're not interested in architecture, you can option to shift to technology, you can shift to design, you can shift to planning, different fields of architecture. So basically, I would put it under 4 heads. One is urban planning related specialization, which is related to town planning. The other specialization is related to design, where you can do product design, visual communication, universal design, strategic design, management, lifestyle accessories. Maybe you can also look at textile and apparel design, ceramic design, product design, any creative design. You can go for master's program with architecture degree. Core architecture, you can do again further specialization in landscape architecture, architecture conservation. So many specializations are possible. And of course, you can join civil engineering related programs like building science, building technology, building science, whatever I've already told, construction project management, where civil engineers also will be your classmates and joining for the program. Is it audible? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So next I'm going to have a small comparison where I'm going to end my presentation. What is the difference between architecture and civil engineering before my friend Hari takes over and explain what is civil engineering. Okay. So architecture, people always confuse architecture and civil engineering are same. No. Basically, I will say like that, architecture is an offshoot of civil engineering. Civil engineering is a mother of architecture, basically. So it is developed from civil engineering, where civil engineers do everything, port, railway, all structures related to everything they are involved. Architects are primarily involved in building design and as well as the architecture creative component of design, primarily. So let's compare architecture, civil engineering before I wind up. So architecture primarily deals with buildings and functionality and aesthetics of buildings. Architecture is combination of art, engineering and humanities, whereas engineering is less of art and more. Civil engineering is more of mathematics and engineering. Whereas civil engineers execute the architectural plans. For example, the designs which are done by architects are executed with the help of civil engineers. They design the structural, how much reinforcement, what is the size of beam, what is the size of column, should you go for steel, how much you should span the building, and what is the all those technical aspects related to that. In consultation with the civil engineers, architects design. So normally in architect, you require a certification to practice. Whereas civil engineering, without that, you can also still practice. So more hard work in terms of academic and profession is required. In terms of quantum of work, I'm not talking about intellectual. Intellectually, even civil engineering is equally challenging. But amount of workload you have to put for architecture is more, according to me. Some of my civil engineering friends may have a different opinion. But according to me, architecture require more workload compared to civil engineering in academics. You have an individual recognition. You can name the architect and you can say he's the architect of it. Normally, the design, whatever you do, the civil engineers' help is tremendous. But normally, unfortunately, the profession does not recognize them to the level of what architects are getting recognized. This design is done by Feroz. But behind me, there is a civil engineer who designed my structure. Is always ignored, which is unfortunate. But this is the reality of the profession. Okay. So now to conclude, I should say that we architects shape our buildings, which shape us, our character. If you have a good building, if you live in a good building, that helps to shape our character. Architecture begins where engineering ends. That is what Walter Gropius is a very famous architect who quoted it. And this late Zaha is a very famous lady architect from Iran. She quoted, if you want to be an easy life, don't be an architect. It's a very tough job. It is a very tedious job, very rigorous job, but very promising job, very fruitful job, and very career-oriented job, which definitely earn you reputation, name, fame, and of course, money. And if you're a lady, you can, if you want to be anywhere in the world, you can work as an architect. Even at home, you can sit and work as an architect. You don't need an office space. So that is the beauty of the program. So any specific questions, you can ask me, or if you have a specific question, you can mail me. I normally used to share my WhatsApp number, but whenever I give unwanted some quick calls for simple things which the student can solve on their own, I used to get. You go to my Facebook. This is my Facebook profile. You simply message me, and then I will give a time, and you can call and we can discuss if you have specific questions related to architecture. Here I end my session. Any specific questions related to architecture, you can ask me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Actually, there are a few questions from our audience side. So,
Yeah.
Mr. Stone, can you please address the questions?
Sure. Firoz sir, one of the
Yeah.
participants, Neeraj, have asked, do we need to have interest in maths to become an architect?
See, it depends. I will say that I am not saying there is no interest. See, without mathematics in our Malayalam movie, Swadigam, the world is zero. Chako Marsh told like that, you know. Maths is a fundamental requirement for every engineer. I will say that though it is degree name is BArch, mathematics application is required. But you will not have a rigorousness like an engineering program. You are expected to train, you will get trained in mathematics. Mathematics are required. Again, it depends on which institution you choose architecture. For example, NITs and IITs, the concentration of mathematics in architecture program is slightly higher when you compare to certain other institutions. For example, in CET Ahmedabad, where I did my post-graduation, and in School of Planning and Architecture, Delhi, and all those places, you have lesser component of say mathematics, but mathematics is there. It may be more application oriented, but fundamentals of mathematics are required because ultimately buildings must have mathematics. So, but the rigorousness depends on the institution where you study, and in general, compared to engineering, architecture has got a lesser concentration of, very less concentration of mathematics. But mathematics is there. Like a +2 basic mathematics is enough to learn architecture mathematics. Maybe 1 or 2 semesters only you should have. It is not that very tough like what you see in mathematics engineering program.
So there is another question from Alif Ahmad. What is the difference between architecture and architectural engineering?
Okay, architecture engineering, as of now to my understanding, there is no program of architectural engineering in India. NIT Calicut, we had an earlier program only in NIT Calicut, which was a wonderful program, which was called BTech degree in architectural engineering. It was a 4-year program in architecture where IT, the same institution, it is one of the best program which as an architect I've seen, because it gives you the feel of an engineering and the dimension of an architect. But unfortunately, it was not recognized by the Council of Architecture as an architecture program, but it was an engineering program. So it has been stopped since 2001 or 2000, that period onwards. No more institution in India is offering that program. I still believe that there should be an architectural engineering program because architects are not self-sustainable unless the engineering support is there. So this program gives you the engineering support as well as the architecture support. Then in profession, you can train yourself better, whichever dimension, because architecture engineering gives you a wider thought. Because from the same institution where I have studied, though I have done BR program, I believe, it's my personal observation, there may be architects who will have a different observation, but I believe it's a very good program. Unfortunately, it is not there. But in US, you have got a program. In many countries in Middle East and Islamic countries, they have, instead of architecture, they call it architectural engineering program. It is there. In India, it is not there to my understanding. To my understanding, I don't know any university offers it.
So there is a question from Gunjan Jain that can we design rocket after BR and can we go into?
Yeah, sure. You have two options. You have two options. One is to do a Bachelor of Architecture program, and then any design program, whichever you can do, most of the 99% of the design program, you can design fields you can join for after BR. And design program is nothing to do with architecture. Even mechanical engineers can join design program, because higher studies, interdisciplinary programs, you should have a basic knowledge in architecture, because I have seen mechanical engineers, electronics engineers, architects, artists sit in the same class and do a design program. For example, if you do a product design program in National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad, you can actually sit with a civil engineer, you can do with a mechanical engineer and do a product design, because product could be anything in the world. So even after architecture, you can do a postgraduate specialization in design. But if you're specifically looking for design program, I would suggest you to go for a Bachelor of Design program, BDUS program, which is not under the purview of this program. I've not been assigned to do a session on design program. So you can go to SEED and you can write the design exam and join for NID Ahmedabad or certain IIT Guwahati is having a design program. So many private institutions are offering design program in Kerala as well as others, where the design degree is called Bachelor of Design. But you can go for a Master of Design program, MDUS program, after a Bachelor of Architecture. So you can choose. So you can option, as I already told you, you have an option. Should you go for you can finish your architecture and then specialize in design, or you have wider option. But once you're in design, if you do a Bachelor of Design program, you have an option to do related to design programs only. But if you do a Bachelor of Architecture, you can shift to technology, you can shift to design, you can shift to architecture, you can shift to many other different professions. So the basic degree is more broad. So you can choose whatever you want. Both options are okay, according to me. You can go for a design program after BR.
So there is a question from Janagi that she is good at analytical thinking than creative thinking. So architecture is a add field for her, whether she can develop her creative skills during the course.
She is not good at creatives. That is what she said.
She is good at analytical thinking than creative thinking.
Again, it depends. I'll tell you. I will say that you have an analytical thinking and some amount of creative thinking is required, which is there in 99% of the people. According to me, 90% of the people who do have a creative thinking. And analytical thinking is good. See, it depends which curriculum you follow. For example, the NIT, IIT curriculum, at least NIT Calicut where I teach, it's slightly analytical in nature. More than the creative perception, it is the analytical perception slightly superseding, according to my personal observation. But if you go in as SPA Delhi, you go SAPTA Ahmedabad and certain other colleges, there the creative dimension is slightly on the upper edge than your analytical dimension. But if you have a mix and balance, you can manage it. Irrespective of this thing, you can still, if you don't have, see, everybody has got some kind of creative dimension, I believe. So it is not difficult to become successful as an architect if you can some amount of creative. But see, nowadays I already told you, softwares are there. So many softwares are there to sketch, basically, visualize. So even too much of drawing skills are not required. Okay. So it is adaptable, it is ideal, but it is not desirable, according to me. Again, my friends and other architects may have a difference in opinion against me, because these are very subjective in nature. It depends on each individual. What is their profession? What is their perception of the profession? According to me, if you are okay with both slight creativity and okay with analytical ability, still you can do good architecture. Nothing wrong. If you are over creative and slightly analytical, still you can do architecture. It's something like a mix of both. So proportions do slightly vary this way, that way. Still you can do. That's my perception.
Thank you. So there is one more question related to skill, that can introvert people with good writing skill but not good speaking skill become a good architect?
Don't worry about it. See, architecture program is a different program. Introvert, see, I was also introvert. I don't have time. I could have actually given a lot of examples of how I myself was an introvert. Okay. See, the program will help you, introvert and whatever. See, there's no point in speaking blah, blah, blah for so many things. Communication skills are desirable. The program will train you. As I said, there are close to 50, 60 subjects in architecture, 5-year program. Each subject will have minimum 2 presentations, 120 presentations minimum will be there. Or 150 presentations, 200 presentations will be there in 5 years. Every week you'll have presentations. You will become, you will be able to speak. Okay, so that training will give you. First year, I don't know this time, when I joined NIT Calicut in first semester, when the teacher called me to speak something on the stage, I could not utter a single word because I was not trained. The 5-year of architecture program made me a faculty here, and I am speaking in front of you, the confidence. Okay, so there's nothing like that. Everything, the program, if nobody comes with skill sets are something which can be trained in the due course. Provided the institution where you go, I was fortunate to study in NIT Calicut, this great institution where I'm teaching, because you have options to develop your multiple personality skills can be developed. That options, wherever an institution in the world you have to keep your eyes wide open, understand what you lack, develop it. Because in academics, if you make mistakes, nobody will scold you. But in profession, after you graduate, if you make mistakes, profession will not tolerate you. This 5-year is enough to develop and inculcate all your skills, including drawing skills, sketching skills, communication skills, creative skills, ability to speak, even English language speaking. There is nothing that cannot be developed. 5 years is fairly good enough. Keep your eyes wide open, be confident, venture into it and develop it. Don't forget, think about too many things. Understand your lacunas, do that. Even if you're an introvert person, your speaking abilities, your communication skills, every ability will get developed. I myself is an example of this question because I was an introvert person when I joined from a 5-year program.
Thank you, sir. Dear participants, due to time limitation, we are moving from the Q&A session.
You can do a small thing. You just note my email ID. I could have shared my WhatsApp number, but unfortunately, I am getting so many. After last year, when I gave this in a public forum, 180 calls I got in 3 days. So for many programs which students themselves can solve it, that is why you simply message me. Whatever I'll give you time, I'll ask you to speak to me. Okay.
Yes,
So that we can do that. Okay. Thank you. And thank you for tolerating me. All the very best. Thank you.
Any other unanswered questions also will be discussed during the panel discussion on Sunday. So
Okay,
please do put your question in the comment box.
Put me an email. I will answer possibly. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Over to you, Vidya.
Okay. On behalf of IEEE Malba section, thank you so much, sir, for gracing your important work and sharing your thought and opinion with us today. And thank you for all the wonderful knowledge and insight shared with our youth on this session. Thank you.
Thank you.